Good morning, everybody. You're tuned into Crack Call. Today is Saturday, the 25th of March 2023. So, where are your leaders now? That's the message. Well, not even a message, really, is it? That's just the fact. They're nowhere to be seen, are they? Now, for context, what happened a couple of years back, I daren't say it, because videos get blocked and stuff. But you know, and I know that you know. I know that you know that I know that you know. 2019 to 2022. But it really hit us hard in 2020 and 2021, didn't it? They were the 2 years that we lost in ways that we'll never be able to get back. But it did serve, in some respects, to be an awakening for a lot of people. It triggered everybody. That's that much is a fact. It triggered everybody one way or the other. And, for the most part, it's not all that bad, considering that more and more people nowadays seem to be seeing the veil lifted on, the big play that's being orchestrated. It's all theatre, isn't it? The world's a stage. Isn't it just? So anyway, context in place, you've got to look at where we are, where we've come from, to see where we're going. That much is obvious, right? So the leaders that we had, and we're straight into it here, the leaders that we had at that time, let's just think about that, because the regime is pushing us ever closer to, their end game. And the only way they can bring about whatever it is they want to bring about is by offering you a problem. So the solution is then offered up, but the problem is manufactured. But if you want to bring about the disillusion of mankind, well, then what do? You make them lose faith in their very system that they have embedded themselves within. I mean, you got to look. Where we're headed into is a technological age. Transhumanism, extraterrestrials and UFOs are readily talked about these days. What does that bring? Well, it brings new technology. Integrative technology, I'm sure. You can integrate with your own self. That's what it will be. The rise of the cyborg. But first of all, you've got to get people to lose faith. Now, there's this thing flying around. Not many people know about it. I didn't know about it until a couple of years back. Continuity of government. C.O.G. Now, what that is, it's where a select group of people, most likely high ups in the military and stuff, of any given nation, will be put in power over the person who is elected. So therefore, say for instance, if there's a crisis, a global crisis, big enough to warrant the sidestepping of our current leaders, these people will then step in as like a one world government type thing. It's like, you know, look at what happened, bro. You know, I dare say they were trying to use what happened in 2020 to stop pushing us towards this end. Because if every single thing in your life is geared towards centralisation of power, which let me tell you it is, everything that is happening in this world is a step towards centralisation of power. These people have given you the illusion of choice because for a time that was what was needed. It's all part of the plan. For a time it was needed to make people feel as though they had a choice, as though they had an impact on the outcome of the world with regards to politics. Now it's all rigged. But you see, these people are fed up with having to go through the dance. You know, the time has come, we just want to rule absolutely. You know, we don't want to have to go through this whole ballot process, even though it's rigged. But you see, that's the point. They've rigged it. And they're getting bored of having to pretend. Well, you know, we don't want to have to pretend anymore, so we just want to actually rule absolutely now. Without question. Without having to offer these people their illusion of choice. Because again, like I said in other videos, it's about doing things the easiest possible way. Because they want the most return for the least effort. Remember, these people are capitalists. So what they've got to do is get you to become disillusioned, to lose faith in that system. So they let out in trickles and dribs and drabs the evidence that the system is rigged. It's rigged. They also get you to lose faith in the people that run countries by putting in place clowns, people that are clearly not fit for the job, or at the very least people that act that way very well, people that are in character, in costume. Look at Boris Johnson. He's in character, he's in costume. I know somebody, or at least I knew somebody who was in politics, low level stuff, but he met Boris Johnson. He was a Conservative, and he met Boris Johnson, and he said that Boris Johnson is actually a very well-spoken, altogether kind of guy, and what you see on camera is not the man who he is. Think about that. He's in character, he's in costume. So these people who want absolute power, they put somebody in through allowing you to think that you voted for them in a time of crisis. This person is seen as a buffoon, acts like one, dresses like one, has his hair like one. You then expect buffoonery. And if the world goes to shit, or at least the country that you're living in at that time goes to shit whilst they're in power, you accept it. But as a byproduct, you lose faith. This is what happens. And this is this is the plan. All right? This is what they want. If you lose faith in the system, well, you'll be more readily accepting of a new system. It's as simple as that. If something happens in the future, let's say another crisis, and they've got another proven idiot. Let's remember, these people are put out there to be the idiot. But, you know, you've got another proven idiot in the position of power. What are you going to do if they say, well, you know what happened last time? We ought to get some slightly more serious folks to deal with this one. I know, we've got this continuation of government stuff where, you know, high up, straight-backed military guys are in charge. They're not going to allow shit to happen. You know, they're not going to allow the country to go to shite. Well, let's get them involved. What would people do? They'd say, of course, we don't want another Boris. We don't want to be in lockdowns again for another however many years. We all remember all too well the inflation that happened afterwards. You know, to pay back the loans, the debt that was ran up in the name of what happened in 2020. So what would people do? They'd say, yeah, okay then, governor, I'll go for some of that. I'll go for some of that, you know, continuation of government malarkey. Continuity of government, I believe, is the right term. But anyway, you will accept it like your grandma's passing you a lovely piece of Victoria sponge and a nice sugary cup of tea. So, where we find ourselves now, and oh, believe me, that's probably not where we want to be, guys. I mean, I don't know. We have to go out on a limb and say it's probably not where we want to be. Centralisation of power is wrong. You know, I mean, ultimately, true democracy is where we need to be. But what we've been given is the fake version of that. The corrupted, infiltrated version of democracy. It's a shame. What they tried to do in Rome with the Senate and stuff was probably the right idea. You know, taking the power away from a despotic Caesar, handing it over to a Senate. Fine. You know, for the people, of the people, all that kind of stuff. The problem is, then you get Caesar behind the scenes, paying people off, etc. It's where we find ourselves now. But where we find ourselves now also with regards to all of this stuff the last few years is we find ourselves in a mass state of distraction. Your attention has been diverted away from asking questions. Think about the people that were pivotal in all of that stuff. You know, the old stick in the arm thing, I can't say it, but you know what I mean. Look at Matt Hancock. Wanker. By name. Look at that guy. Shares in AstraZeneca. Made loads of money. What did they do? They gave him an easy out, didn't they? They were like, right, the people are doing their research on this guy. We're not getting away with this. What we need to do is we need to shuffle him away. Because otherwise, people will look into him. They'll look into other people that he's connected to. So on and so forth. Before you know it, the snowball stops rolling. So they got him away quick, didn't they? They gave him an easy scandal to get out on. Oh yeah, by the way, he was having sex with his secretary or whatever it was. His personal aide or whatever it is. You know, he was having an affair. He was out during lockdowns. You know, big fucking deal. Who cares, man? Who cares? Who cares that Boris had a party? Everybody else was. Who cares? Well, people want their pound of flesh, don't they? They're baying for their blood. Boris has got to pay. They're still going on about fucking what they're calling Partygate. Who cares? It's a fucking party, man. Get over it. Everybody else was having parties, man. But oh no, they hyped the shit out of it. Why? Why are they hyping the shit out of this guy having a party at work? Why? Well, first and foremost, yes, fair enough. Hands up to it, guys. He was telling everybody else not to do it, and yet he was doing it himself. Very hypocritical, I know. But after people that were fucking telling you that you had to wear a mask because you were putting people at risk, were having folks around their house too, breaking their little bubble, okay? So everybody was a hypocrite to some level. No one's fucking guiltless. All right? Christ. But anyway, they hyped the shit out of it. Oh, I know. Nothing gets out unless they want it to get out, by the way. The stuff that goes on that you don't hear about is because they don't want you to hear about it. But oh yeah, they let it get out. Of course they do. Because they need an exit plan for Boris. Of course. He needs to leave. He's done his job. It's exit stage left for our Boris. So what do? They get him on a minor. It's low-hanging fruit. Just like Matt Hancock. They get him on a minor and give him the least possible sentence because he's served his little fucking oligarchs, hasn't he? He's served his masters well, and ultimately now he gets off with a slap on the wrist, seemingly so, because in the eyes of the public there needs to be punishment, which is why I warned in that video, pound of flesh and paying for blood. Because if you're desperate for your pound of flesh, they'll offer it to you, and then that will appease you and it will quell that which resides inside you that demands true justice, which is far beyond Boris Johnson paying for a bloody party or having one. Christ almighty, do you think he gives a shit? Do you think anybody really cares? Does it really affect anything? No. Guess why? Because the whole thing was bollocks anyway. Can't you see? The reason he was having a party with all those people is because it didn't matter. Idiots. Anyway, here we are in an apparent war crisis situation with Ukraine and Russia. By the way, as it turns out, I heard the other day that Putin himself, Putin, whatever, was a scholar of Klaus Schwab's bloody business school. So whatever, you know, theatre. So what you've got is a distraction. Another reason for laundering money, and another reason to distract the public opinion whilst they ferry away these people. You know, you've got fucking Grandpa Biden, right, that's going out of his mind with dementia. I don't know if he is or not. It looks like it though, doesn't it? Maybe that's all just bloody character. You know, he's in character, he's in costume stuff. Who knows? Maybe he is actually losing his marbles, which, yes, the guy's a nonce, clearly, because he's sniffing kids' hair on stage, you know, and putting his hands all over them and stuff, which is weird. I mean, if he's not a paedophile, he's fucking weird, isn't he? You wouldn't want him near your kids, would you? Christ. But anyway, they've got him there as the figurehead. I wonder why. Because they can get away with an awful lot of stuff. This is the thing. We're living in a world where a guy with dementia has his hand poised over the red button that decides whether or not there's a nuclear war. And we accept it. We say, okay, this is normal. I wonder what shit is being passed over there in the name of Biden. Because this is it, you know. You put a fool in the position that makes decisions, you can expect and accept stupid decisions being made, can't you? Or at least decisions that seem stupid to us. Well, you know, he passed a law to put everybody in concentration camps. Well, we can't take it back now. But just remember, you know, just accept the fact that the guy was clearly, you know, he had dementia. But you voted him in. It's your fault. Abuse, abuse, abuse. I've said many times we're living in an abusive relationship, and our captors, the people that run this planet, work off the basis of the very foundations, the very blueprint of what an abusive relationship is. And everybody falls for it. Honestly. So anyway, whilst all of this distraction is going on, all of these people are being ferreted away and given their little, you know, their little get-outs. And before we know it, the world will be different, because all of these things that are coming into place now underneath this distraction, I'm telling you now, man, we can't reverse it. I can't wait to see what the world's like in 10 years, because it's going to go one way or the other. You know, it's going to go one way or the other. Who knows? We're either going to be in a world with complete and utter control and centralisation of power because they've won, or they will push for that so hard that it will be highlighted to such a degree that the people actually rise up against it. Either way, it's on us, isn't it? And on that note, I'm going to wish love and peace to all things everywhere. This is Crackle signing off. Peace.